entry level range. They put me in the big dog. And so you get used to that was my first impression. So we can't go down, right? But I don't know this. So they take me out. They let me take the vehicle out. I'm talking to the guy. He's like, man, why don't you drive it? Drive it. I'm like, okay, bet. Let's see. So in the Range Rover, I mean, it was a pretty good size SUV. So I go out, I'm enjoying it, I'm opening it up, I'm on the highway, I'm having fun. We get back, and I had never had a car payment in my life. Never. So I was not, first of all, I wasn't prepared for any amount because I've never had a car payment. So let me be clear with that. The second thing is, the reason I hadn't had a car payment is because I had saved and paid for all my cars in cash. But at this point, I had owned a Honda Civic, and I'd owned smaller cars. So we're talking about, walking on a lot in pre-owned cars, 10,000, 9,000, 12,000. That I was young, so that's what I was doing. So now I made some money. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what this Range Rover is talking about. So I go look, don't know the price. We get back. Hey, do you like it? Yes, I love it. Let me know if y'all driving a Range Rover and can relate to this. But I said, yes, I love it. This thing is gorgeous. This is amazing. So I take the Range. We get back to the dealership. I sit down, and they're like, okay, let's go over here to financing and talk to them. I said, okay, bet. So we talked to them in financing, and he starts to break down. He said, this is if you do this for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And I said, okay. And he's like, this would be your monthly payment. I remember seeing that monthly payment, and it confused me. I'm like, well, how many months is this monthly payment? Like, is this 3 months? And the guy laughed. He said, no, this is what you'll be paying every month for the vehicle. And so, I get out a calculator. Excuse me. I start doing math. I said, okay, if I'm paying X amount of dollars times, 36 months here, times 48 months, times 60 months. And I had never financed anything in my life at this point. So that finance charge, I wasn't doing the math on that. I'm thinking, if you tell me, for example, this wasn't the number, it was much higher, but if you tell me $1,000 a month and I'm paying for it for 60 months, it's $60,000. I'm not at all taking into concern or into consideration that finance charge of whatever that, the APY, whatever that percentage is at which you're loaning me the money, that I'm paying that every year. And so I said, okay, well, how much is the vehicle? He tells me. I'm doing the math. I'm like, wait a second, there's a big gap here. And he's like, yeah, you're making payments. Well, unbeknownst to him, I was not coming to make a payment. I wanted to buy cash. So then I tell him I want to buy cash. And he looks at me and says, excuse me? I said, yeah, I want to buy cash. I don't want to make payments because, guys, I was pumped up. I was fired up, but I was not at all prepared for the number that he was giving me to be paying. I'm like, this is not a car payment. This is it was higher than my mortgage at the time. Like the amount he gave me. And you got to understand, this is my first 7-figure year. So I'm new here. I wasn't prepared for this. This is years ago. So I'm like, wait a second, dude, you want me to pay that much every month? I said, nah, I knew how much money I had set aside for the vehicle. I knew what I wanted. And I said, hey, we got to find the price in here where we can negotiate. And because there's a little bit of a gap because they put me in the top of the line range. And it was probably, if I had to recall, $15,000 more than what I had prepared to spend. And so we had some conversations. We negotiated a little bit. We talked. And then eventually I wrote them a check, left the dealership with the vehicle. But I tell you that story to say, I don't know about you. I don't know if you can relate to that. If you can think of a time where you were extremely excited about something, but not prepared for everything that came along with it, the responsibility. And I don't know about you, but that's kind of how adulting is. It's like, wait a second, I'm looking forward to moving out. I'm looking forward to having my own this, my own that. I'm looking forward to starting a business. I'm looking forward to all the freedom they said I have with entrepreneurship. But didn't nobody tell me it came along with all of this other stuff. I was not prepared. If you are an entrepreneur and you have felt this way, let me know in the comments. If you can say, yes, I was fired up about entrepreneurship. I was pumped up about entrepreneurship when I quit my job or when I started my business, all the things, the freedom, the money, all of that. But I wasn't prepared for maybe the chargebacks. I wasn't prepared for the scammers. I wasn't prepared for the flakiness. I wasn't prepared for the sales calls constantly. I wasn't prepared for the marketing. I wasn't prepared for social media. You weren't prepared for all these the plethora of things that comes along with the responsibility of being an entrepreneur. And so if you can relate to that, I want to know. Let me know, and let me know. I would love to know what it is. What is it that as an entrepreneur, you're in business and you're like, this is probably what this threw me the most. This is the one thing that I really wasn't ready for. I'd love to know what that is. So let me know what's that one thing that you can say, I really didn't fully anticipate XYZ in business. When going into business, no one told you about it, or maybe they told you about it, but you still weren't fully prepared. So I'd love to know what that is. And here's the thing. I can't believe, let's see, April 13th. Yes, I can't believe that we're halfway through this month. And so Q1 seems like it was just it was come and gone. I mean, like that. Now it seems like April is halfway gone. So what I want to ask you is this, and I need you guys here. I need some participation here because I need to, exactly, that's it. Social media, I definitely wasn't prepared for social media and all the things that come along. Social media is like having a part-time job as an entrepreneur. Like you're an entrepreneur, and then it's like, wait a second, I gotta handle my social media, create the content, shoot the content, edit the content, post the content, engage with the content, then repost that on my stories, and then that's just Instagram. We ain't talking about YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We haven't had a conversation about not one other platform. So it's crazy because it's like this is me running a business and then running social media for my business is, I feel like, a separate job, a whole other part-time job. And depending on how much you do it, it might be a full-time job. So here's what I want to know. This is what I want to know. Tell me your goals for Q1. What were, and just, I want to have an open conversation, a dialogue here, okay? Not a monologue. So you guys have attended my live. It's kind of, I start to turn up more and more, and you get more value from me the more you kind of participate. So I'm gonna constantly be sitting here and listening. Creating content takes so long, bruh. It's a lot. Like you can't just, you used to just turn a camera on. Now I got lights in the background. I got a 3D wall. I got speakers. I got a microphone because right now I'm on YouTube and I'm on Instagram. So it's like, I'm trying to leverage all that. I got multiple cameras. If you join me, if you go over my YouTube channel right now, you're going to see me live and it's going to be a different look. So it's like all the things that you're doing. And, it's like I was pumped up about entrepreneurship. I was pumped up about every business I run, but I was just not fully prepared for all of the nonsense. I'm going to call it nonsense that comes along with it. So here's what I want to know. I need to know something. I need to know, first of all, I need to know, do you all set goals? So just give me a yes or no. Just let me know. Jump in the chat really quickly. Yes, we set professional. And yeah, let's just talk about business goals right now. Did you set a goal in December of 2022 or in January and said, I want to do this, or this for Q1? I need to know that. I need to know if you set a goal for this quarter, this past quarter. So we got, yep, okay, yep, good. So yeah, let me know. Let me know. Be honest too. Don't if you ain't set no goals, just be like, tell me, James, not really a goal setter. That's not my thing. But if you all set goals, if you set any goals for 2023, Q1, let me know. Yes, yes, good. Okay, we got some goal setters in here. Now, here's my question. Now, if you're brave, I want you to share. If you open and you're transparent, share what your goal was. And if you're like, look, I don't want to share it. Cool. This is really what I want to know. Did you hit all of your goals? Your major goals. Tell me, yes, I hit all of my Q1 goals, or no, I did not. And I'm going to be the first to tell you, I did not hit all of my Q1 goals. I did not hit all of my Q1 goals. And I'm going to tell you what happened and how I'm navigating that in real time. I'm going to share that with you in just a little bit. But I want to know from you, did you hit all of your Q1 goals? So let me know, because I want to, and the reason I asked, people, when you get on my lives, guys, the reason that it's more interactive and not just me kind of just ranting or talking all the time. Sometimes I go in and sometimes I just want to have a dialogue. Is because I want to make sure that the information that I'm giving in real time is relevant to the people that are on. Now, if you watch this later, hey, it is what it is. But thank you, appreciate it. So I got one person just commented. Let me know. I want to get the rest of you in on this because I want to make sure that I tailor the information based off of the people that are currently watching this. And the thing is this: if you're just joining me, thanks for joining, just tuning in. Talking about being pumped, not prepared. I started off with a story of about my first luxury vehicle and how I just wasn't prepared for the price tag and the monthly payments on that thing. So, hey there, what's up? And so now I'm asking people, did you set Q1 goals? And if you set Q1 goals, did you hit all of your Q1 goals? So I'll be honest with you. I did not hit all of my Q1 goals. And here's the thing. I lost focus. And I lost focus. What happened to me in Q4 of last year, I was dealing with the effects of COVID. So around December, I started going back and forth to the doctor, to the hospital. I was probably at the doctor every week for about 3 months, and every week to every other week. And I'm talking not just primary care. I'm talking, I was seeing a cardiologist. I was seeing a pulmonologist. I was seeing sleep doctors. I was seeing, you name it. And I was seeing those doctors. I was in and out going to see those doctors. And here's why. They didn't know at the time, but whatever strain of COVID that I had, and we're talking, I was probably 3 months post-COVID, it had done a number on me. And I went from being able to crank a workout out to trying to walk across the street or walk to my car, go up a flight of stairs, and be extremely winded to the point where I have to stop. Like I couldn't continue up the stairs sometimes, or when I got to the top of the stairs, I had to just sit down and just take a second. This was insane to me. I've never dealt with this. I've essentially never been out of shape, and I've definitely never been out of shape at this level. So I've always been active my entire life. Always played several sports and always been in the gym. So this was very, very new to me to be completely out of breath. So I was pumped up for Q1. I was excited for Q1, but I wasn't prepared for the things that were getting ready to happen. So in December, I started going to see the doctor, and they're like, oh, all of a sudden your blood pressure's through the roof. And they're starting to ask me all these questions. And I'm like, why are you guys asking me these questions? What's going on? What's the concern? And they were concerned about my blood pressure. They were concerned about the lack of sleep. They were concerned about stress levels. Hey, we're going to see you to get an EKG. We're going to see you to do this. You got to wear a Holter monitor. Go get this. Do this. And I'm poked. I'm prodded. I'm getting blood drawn consistently. I'm doing, you name it. For about 3 to 4 months, I was literally a lab rat every single just going. And I'm still going. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, if I'm being completely honest. But it's now about once a month. They're just checking as everything is starting to get much better. But I was not prepared for that when I was planning out Q1. So this started, like I said, in Q4 of last year. I'm a meticulous planner. So I have a thing that I do with my clients called Iron and 90 Days of Focus. And they show you how to get more done in 90 days you did in the previous year, and how to make a bigger impact, make more money, etc. And not to burn yourself out and just be working yourself to the bone. So I know how to do this. I know how to do this in multiple businesses. I am not new to growing and scaling businesses. So it's crazy though. Come January, I'm like, I'm looking, I'm getting ready to announce my live event. I've got all the things in the works. And the doctor's like, well, we might have to keep you overnight. Your blood pressure is at stroke level. And so we want to make sure, and we think you also have a blood clot. I'm like, a blood clot? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I don't understand. And I mean, I'm not really telling anyone. A few friends would check on me from time to time, and they knew me well enough. They're like, give me the real answer. Are you good? And sometimes I would open up, be a little bit more transparent, because I'm a person that I'm very, very much, I believe in controlling the mind, because the body's going to follow the mind. So I'm careful what comes out of my mouth. So in this process of being pumped up about Q1, going, this is about to be insane. For this business, we're doing this. For this business, we're doing this. We're going to do this. We're going to do X, Y. I mean, I was so excited and ecstatic for the new year and Q1, because it's that fresh slate. It's like, just painting your room, and you just come in, and to me, I love that smell of fresh paint. It's invigorating. It's like, oh man, this is fresh. That's how I felt about Q1. So I was so fired up and ready to go. And then we get 2 weeks. So I'm going to the doctor nonstop. I'm getting blood drawn. I'm in the doctor one time, and they I went to the doctor that morning, and that night I had to go to the lab and give blood. They took a bag and a half, and they're like, yep, your blood's a little bit thicker than we anticipated. So we want you to go give blood. And they're looking at, RBC, red blood count, white blood count. They're looking at all these different things and giving me all of the information, stuff that I'm pretty well aware of in regards to my background of health and wellness, but stuff I'm not prepared for, because I was just a picture of health. I was doing fine. What happened? And all this is post-COVID. So I'm like, what is going on? So I give the blood that night. I go back to the doctor the next day. They're like, how do you feel? I'm like, wow, I feel really good. Like, this is the best I felt in a while. So they go in, they check my blood pressure. Everything's, starting to come down, normalize a little bit. And like, okay, we're still going to send you some specialists, but we wanted to go do some more lab work. So they go in there, and I sit down. Guys, I am not afraid of needles at all. I can watch you, and I don't know if you can see my veins. My veins are like railroad tracks. Like, anyone can stick me. It's not hard to find a vein. Well, that day, this is the first time this has ever happened in my life. Donating blood, giving blood, physicals, whatever. She put the needle in this arm, right in here, and right below my bicep. And I see the needle go in. I see her pull the little thing off the stopper, and so the blood. And then she unties the little. I can't think of the name. It's nothing right now. Forgive me. But she untied the little thing off my arm. And when she did, I'm thinking the blood's about to just flow, right? No blood, nothing. Guys, I felt like a vampire or something. I'm like a werewolf. I don't even know. But she untied it. I'm looking at it, and there's no blood that is going into this vial. You talk about probably one of the most freaked out I've ever been in my life, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, this is real. I'm looking at this. So I gave blood the night before. They took a bag and a half. And I know roughly, how many bags of fluid or liters of blood are in the body. So I'm like, I got way more blood. So I'm going to tell you, it, as strong as my mindset is, as focused as I am, as much self-discipline I have over my mind, it messed with me. I was pumped up. Like I said, I'm like, oh, gave blood. Let's go back. Let's get my report, get my labs. I go back in there. Boom. They stick the needle in nothing. And I'm speechless. She goes, I'm like, man, I need more than. You pulled a needle out of my arm. And when she pulled the needle, didn't no blood come out. I'm like, wait. Now I've been giving blood here every single week, and I gave blood the night before. And in the doctor's office, they're just taking just 2 little vials, and they're running it for labs. So then she comes to the other arm, and she's like, "Hey, pump your fist." So I start pumping my fist, and I'm just pumping and pumping, and boom, I see the blood come, and then it stops. And I said, "What is going on?" And then all of a sudden, I feel it. And I just body cold sweat. And I was like, okay, it was a chair kind of like this. I'm sitting kind of high, like a high chair. And you have this thing that you can pull down and you can rest your arm on. I said, hey, can you bring that down? I need to put my head on this. She's like, you okay? And I'm a decent sized guy. I mean, at that point I was like 265. I'm probably about 245 now. So that's a lot of weight for 2 ladies to be catching. So I was like, let me sit down and just kind of sit here. And so I'm talking to them, and then my vision's gone. So I can hear, but I can't see anything. And she said, hey, do you need anything? I said, I think my blood sugar is dropping. And so, she's like, okay, we're going to check it. They try to check it, no blood. And so this is the 3rd time, and now I know because I'm talking to her. I said, hey, and I reach up when she pricked my finger, and I do like this, and I don't feel any blood. So I can't see it, but I can, all my other senses are working. And your senses start working overtime when one sense shuts down. So I'm hearing everything in the doctor's office. I'm acutely aware of them whispering. And so I say, anything to bring my blood sugar back up. Well, here's what happened. This is where the kicker is. I had been fasting. And I'd already planned my fast before I knew I was going the night before to give blood. So I was fasting. I gave blood. I left. I was fine. I sat there even for about an extra 5 minutes after, because I knew I was fasting. I knew I was going to be lightheaded. Got out of there, got in my car, waited a little bit, then drove home. Perfectly fine. Next day, still fasting, not thinking, I just didn't give thought to, didn't know I was going to have to give blood again. And if you took a bag and a half, surely you can get a vial. No idea. Not, like I said, I was pumped up about going to the doctor and getting a good report. But I wasn't prepared for you to stick a needle in my arm, both arms, and prick a finger and no blood come out. This isn't normal. That's like jumping it's like walking outside and it's raining and you see the rain, but you're not getting wet. It's like, this doesn't make sense to me. And I'm going to be honest, guys, at this point, I'm freaked out. Okay? I'm like, what's going on? What is going on? And so came down to the fact that I wasn't giving blood because I was severely dehydrated. I did pass out. I came back and I didn't even know I passed out. I was talking to them and it wasn't until I said, yeah, man. I said, that was a close one. Lady said, what you mean? I said, I almost passed out. She said, you were gone for a couple of minutes. I said, huh? She said, yeah, you were out. You were gone. I was like completely. She's like, yeah, you blacked out, man. I didn't even know I had no idea that I had passed out right there. I'm telling them, that was a close one. I almost passed out. Again, pumped up, but not prepared. Was not prepared to find out from people in the room that there was a short stint where I was not coherent. So then they're like, look, what's going on, man? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, and so I didn't tell them I was fasting initially. And it wasn't to keep it from them, is because it just didn't, I fast on a regular basis. I didn't register for me to tell them that. So once I realized it, I said, hey man, I was fasting. The doctor's like, oh, well, yeah, that's part of it. You're dehydrated. Are you drinking water? I said, yeah, I'm drinking plenty of water. But, without anything else, no other vitamins, no other minerals, you do need those electrolytes. So I didn't have any of that. So needless to say, when they finally, I rescheduled the appointment, went back to the doctor, been going back to the doctor. And I say all that to say, you can find yourself in situations where you're super excited or looking forward to, or ecstatic, or maybe even nervous energy. You have a good outlook on something, but you're not prepared for everything that comes along with it. And I was not prepared for everything that came along with going back to the doctor and getting those test results, or not even results, but finding all this stuff out. I wasn't prepared to go to the cardiologist and them say, hey, we want to make sure that you don't have a stroke. I wasn't prepared to go to the pulmonologist and say, I'm doing a breathing test for 30 minutes. And I don't know if you guys have ever had to do this, but you sit in this little box and I can barely fit in this box, and they try to pull the air out, and you have to, you got to breathe in this little machine. It's just a lot. So I'm not prepared for any of this. I'm doing a walking test and they're measuring my heart rate. I'm like, a walking test? Dude, I can crank out burpees like nobody's business. Why am I doing a walking test? I was not prepared for any of these things. So, and I haven't really shared any of this publicly, any of this journey. There's a lot going on. A lot of people are like, oh, you got missing. We haven't seen you there or that. And I had a lot going on. I mean, between doctors saying, hey, we think you could have a stroke, be careful. Doctors saying for a while, for about, I think 2.5 months, I was told I couldn't fly. And it was just one thing after another, after another of me, finding out information that I went from being in shape, fit, living an active life, to you telling me, we want to make sure you don't have a blood clot in your lungs. We want to make sure that you don't have a blood clot here. We want to make sure this. And you have to be very careful when you're receiving information from people to not take that on too. I want to make sure that I make that very clear, that when you all are planning your quarters, planning things in business, make sure you're not just absorbing advice from everyone and going, oh, you know what? I'm going to take this on and use this. So what I want to talk about in regards to this and sharing that story is to get you to understand that life can throw you a lot of curveballs. Now, after all of this happened to the doctor, guess what happens the very next week? I'm going down the highway 45. It's about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. I'm headed to watch, it was an NFL playoffs. So we're right in the wild card. And so I'm going home to watch a wild card game. And then somebody comes in on the exit. Another car is trying to get in front of me. So I let off my gas. I don't hit my brakes. I just let off my gas. It's pouring down, raining. They clipped, just getting in, they clipped the front of my truck. I'm going to, I fishtail a little bit, and then I go to a full 360 spin. I spin twice, and I'm doing everything I can to get my car off the road, because in that far left, I was in the far right, the far left lane, there's an 18-wheeler coming. So I'm able to get my vehicle off the road, and I'm in the center, praying that I don't go on into the other side of the highway and into oncoming traffic. So then I'm in a car accident. So I'm recovering, dealing with all this other stuff, get into a car accident, total lost my vehicle, walked away from that, blessed, sore, but not with sustaining any major injuries. So I'm like, this is another thing. Like when I wrote down my Q1 plans, I didn't put any of this stuff on the sheet. I didn't put any health concerns. I didn't put any car accidents. I didn't put any family issues. I didn't sign up for this. Whatever. I was like, I went home and I'm like, where's my receipt for when I purchased my ticket for 2023? Because I need to read the terms. I want a refund. Like, how far are we into the year, God? Can I just turn this back in and start over? Because this ain't it. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like that, but it's like, can we start over? Can we just hit reset? I felt like, a kid who was losing a game, and it's just like, go to the console and just like, boom. I felt it. I felt like this for the last 20 years. Oh boy, that's hilarious. And it's funny, not funny, because it's like, man, I just want a do-over. Like, come on. And so this is where I had to become resilient, because I don't have any quit in me. But you got to be careful, because stubbornness and resilience at a point where, evidently my blood pressure's high, stress levels are high. I'm like, I got to find the balance in prioritization. I had to learn how to prioritize things. And what happens is this. Well, what I really wanted to really get in here is understanding that I don't really share a lot of things that are going on in the rest of my life. But a lot of people think when people hit 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures and they're running a successful business, or you see all this stuff on this highlight reel in life, you think for some reason that people aren't dealing with other things. A lot of people think that life isn't lifing for everyone. And it's like everyone's telling you all the amazing things that's going on. And I'm not here to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm here to let you know it's not, I'm a firm believer, it's not what happens to you, it's how you handle it. And I want to be transparent, and it's very rare that I don't hit my quarterly goals. It's rare because I plan. And I go, hey, here's a well-laid plan, and if this, we're going to do this, or we'll go here. And it didn't happen. And it wasn't due to, it's not me, oh, you're blaming the Christ. No, it's just, this is the reality of the thing. I had to come down and realize, you know what? Life is happening right now, and I need to prioritize this. I need to be very intentional and prioritize this because something is speaking to me loudly. And it was my health saying, listen, you cannot keep burning this candle. The candle had been burned at both ends, and now where this is where the candle was. And the flame, the wick was burning, and boom, it's about to go out. So I said, you know what? This is nothing to be played with. I've got to prioritize to take care of my health. And life is doing the same thing for exactly. It is. It's the fact that you said life is not life in the same for 8-figure earners. Yeah, no, it is. I'm here to tell you firsthand. It is. It doesn't matter. There was no point when I was in that car accident. There was no point when I was going to the doctor every week where I was like, it's okay because gross revenue is this. It's okay because I made this much money. No one cared. At least I didn't. I was at no point at that time thinking about how much money I made or my current revenue goal, or if I was thinking, what is going on regarding my health? This is I've taken care of myself. What's going on? Like, I thought that if you take care of yourself, this is the reward of taking care of yourself. So what in the world is going on? And so the thing is to understand that in transparency, to be able to understand that, guys, you can hit these goals and still have other areas where you have to prioritize. So it's not just your financial health, it's also your mental health, it's also your physical health, it's also your spiritual health. Like, you can't just look at one aspect, okay? So when you are looking and you're pumped up in one area and you're super excited, you need to be prepared for things to go awry in other areas. And you need to know, listen, you've heard the expression, it's too good to be true, right? And it's not that I'm not telling you that. I'm not saying I am not a cynical person. I'm an extremely optimistic person. I'm a glasses half full kind of person. But in as much, I'm aware that, listen, this is going well or this won't, but at any moment, things can shift. I'm much more aware that no matter how much control I think I have, things can change in the blink of an eye. So that being said, I want to talk to you about how to adequately prepare yourself, even though you're pumped up, even though you're fired up. Because when you get in the middle of it, you're like, wait, I wasn't anticipating this. I don't know how to handle this. What do I do? So let's talk a little bit about that before I wrap this up. I want you to understand something. I want you to understand, when you're in business, when you're dealing with life, there's a word that I want you to make sure that you do not forget. It's something that is part of my morning routine, and that's intentions. I want you to go through life, if you're watching this, with intentionality. So if you're writing anything down, if you're like taking anything away from this live, I want you to understand that you must do things on purpose. Don't let things just happen. Don't let things, don't think, oh, it's here. No, it's by design. Do it intentionally. Do it on purpose. Be a person of intention. Be a person of purpose. Say, you know what? Nothing happens in my life on accident. If it happens because I intended for it to happen. Now, there are going to be things that happen outside of your control. And we know that. But there will be much less happening outside of your control when you live your life with high intentions. When you really, really set the course and say, hey, so I want to talk about the 4 areas. I already gave them out to you, but I want to talk about 4 areas where I really want you to prioritize your intention. The first place is your mental health. So I need you to sit down and go, okay, what do I need to keep my head clear so I can stay focused? What needs to happen? And that's going to be different for everybody. You know, sometimes I don't need to talk to these 3 people in the morning. I don't need this. I do need this. I need this much, this much peace. I need to know, I need to be able to this. You gotta ask yourself, what do you need? And you gotta write it down. And you gotta be clear about it. So that's your mental health. Then after your mental health, I want you to say, what does my spiritual health need? Where is my spirit? And then these are not in a specific order. This is just me giving you these. So after your mental health, you say, okay, spiritually, what do I need? What am I? My faith is in God. So I'm like, okay, am I reading like I'm supposed to be? Am I fasting? Am I praying? Am I doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing so I'm hearing clearly? So my spiritual health is order. Then is my actual health, my physical health. Where is it? Am I neglecting it? Am I, you can't sit here and go, oh, I'm going to be eating out all the time and eating fast food all the time and door dashing all the time, and still not going to the gym. And you need to understand that there's a season for things. You need to understand that, okay, I need to be meal prepping for a little bit. Okay, I need to cut back on this a little bit. And I know we're in this huge body positivity movement. It's not about, we're going beyond how you look. And we're going to, how do you actually feel? Do you really feel good? Not just aesthetics. Do you feel good? Can you go and walk a mile? Can you jog a mile? Can you do some things that get your heart rate elevated and leave your heart rate elevated for 15, 20, 30 minutes and feel good about it? That's important, especially people of color, with the number of people that are leaving this world with heart disease and heart attacks. So we've got our mental health, we've got our spiritual health, we've got our physical health. And the last thing I want you to look at, and I say last it's not in any specific order, it's up to you on what needs the most attention right now, is your financial health. So I need you to go in and look at your business. I need you to look at things entrepreneurially and say, what do I need to do in this season to move the needle enough for me to get the results I need that coincides for the rest of my life? And be intentional with that. When you are intentional about these 4 areas, when you can go, you know what? I didn't get everything out of Q1 that I wanted. I didn't hit all the goals that I wanted, but I can course correct in Q2, and I can change direction, and I can you gotta list those 4 things out. And after you write those 4 things out and what it means to you, I want you to put in order what's the most important. Which one of those you're gonna focus on all of them consistently. Well, what's the priority? If it's because your physical health is going to prevent you from focusing on the others. Your financial health is really hard to go, oh, I'm going to do these other things when my financial health is down. When you're spiritually out of balance and off kilter, it's hard to go, oh, I'm about to go to the gym or I'm about to spend time with my family and be present, and you just feel you're off. You got to look at these things and go, wait a second, here are all these things. James is telling me, if you're just joining me, I'm talking about pumped but not prepared. And the areas that the thing I want you to live with is intentionality. And there's 4 areas that I want you to put intention in over this next quarter so you can have one of the best quarters you've ever had. And the first thing I said is your mental health, and then your spiritual health, and then your physical health, and then your financial health. Those are the 4 areas that I want you to live with intentionality. And then after you write under there what you need for each one of those, what is essentially a goal and a focus for that. Then I want you to say, what's the most important thing? Which one of these needs the most attention? They're all equally important, but which one needs the most attention based off of where you are right now in your life? And then you gotta give that time. You gotta give it, because if not, you're gonna find yourself doing the same thing in May. You're pumped up, you're ready to go, but you're not prepared. You don't have what you need, and you're gonna find yourself in Q2 doing what some of you said you did in Q1, not hitting your goals. So if you're going to hit your goals, in Q2 in life goals, business goals, this isn't just about revenue. Okay. So if you're going to hit these goals, you're going to have to adequately prepare yourself. You're going to have to live with intention. You're going to have to break your life up into these areas and go, you know what? I gotta stick this out. I gotta do this. I gotta focus on this area. So that's just, I want to jump on and share that with you all. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. I want to share that with you because, I'm on the other side now, thankfully, of all of this crazy stuff that's happening. And I'm looking forward to, as I go back to the doctor tomorrow, my last couple of doctor appointments have been great in terms of 180 degrees. Health is going back in the right direction. Still got some work to do, but I'm at least going back in the opposite direction, or in the right direction, I should say, as opposed to the way things were going. So I am now putting even a higher intentionality on things when it comes to my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health, and my financial or professional health. So I want to make sure that you all do the same things. I want to make sure that you live with intentionality. I want to encourage you that, yes, you might be pumped up, but you might not always be prepared for those curveballs and the things that are coming. So I want you to live with intentionality so you can adequately, when life does, give you a curveball, you're like, wait a second, I was prepared for that mentally. I was prepared for that physically. I was prepared for that spiritually. I was prepared for that financially, because you took the time to live with intention. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you all for hanging out. Thank you all on Instagram. Thank you all on YouTube. Guys, I am out of here. You have a great night. It is so weird.